Hey, what's going on? My name is Jack Lane. Welcome back to a brand new video here at the channel. This one's a quick video. I saw this thing on TikTok today and I thought this could be an interesting thing to talk about and get people's opinions on here. 007, as we know, Bond 26 has still yet to be announced who the actor is, and the story is yet to be announced. It has so far been 3 years without a Bond film, and I desperately need one. So when I saw this theory online, I can't remember who posted it, but it just made perfect sense to me. You have James Bond come out of retirement, and you have him be played by the 71-year-old Pierce Brosnan. Now, you may be like, Pierce Brosnan was Bond back in the 90s and early 2000s. His last film wasn't that great. Yes, however, he never got a proper Bond send-off. There were other Bonds that didn't get send-offs, but I feel like his Bond deserved a send-off because he didn't choose to leave the film franchise. He was more so forced out of it when they went for a reboot after the Bourne films came about. This could be a big movie. This could be huge because it could be tapping into nostalgia. It could be tapping into a legacy sequel, a legacy ending. And I just feel that Pierce Brosnan, a 71-year-old James Bond, coming out of retirement to save the world would be great. And you don't even need to have him be this Bond now where he's after the young fit women, right? 71 years old, your grandpa age. He could have kids and grandkids at this point. You know, it's been 20 years since he last appeared, and they could say that his Bond films were set all in the 90s and that his kids are in their 30s and his grandkids are, you know, young ages, and he gets a call from M, who unrealistically wouldn't probably be Judi Dench, but it would make a lot of sense if they went that route, because it'd be an M that his Bond is familiar with. It'd be an M that people loved and adored through his era and the Craig era. It would bring that nostalgia back into the series, and Judi Dench would get to do another Bond film because she didn't want to leave during Skyfall as well. She wanted to stay the course for Craig's era, but basically was ridden out because of a plot point in the bigger story. Hence why she returned in Spectre through a video recording. Now, with that being said, would this film work? 100%. James Bond is one of these characters that is ageless in many people's eyes. But an aged up James Bond has been spoken about before, back in 2012 when the 50th anniversary was going around. There were rumours and people were talking about what if they did a James Bond film with Daniel Craig and it went through his years and he changed into each Bond just as a one-off movie, not connected to his universe or any of the Bond films, just a one-off. An old Bond would be interesting to see what an old James Bond would look like coming out of retirement to save the world once again. He would be slower, he'd be weaker, he wouldn't be that tactically minded, right? But he would still have his one wit that he always has. He would be a killer, and he wouldn't take any hostages. You know, he wouldn't be asking questions. This film could work as a one-off, send off with Pierce Brosnan, and it would be interesting to see what they would do with it. Will it happen? No. It's just a random film theory that I've had that I thought, or that I saw and I had my own opinion on, I should say, that I thought would be kind of interesting to explore further. And doing a 71-year-old Bond movie would be a fantastic way to give Pierce Brosnan a legacy movie send-off. I don't know what you guys think, but after watching his performance in the movie Charlie, Fast Charlie, where he played Charlie Swift, he still has the chops, he still has the passion for doing these rogue, assassin, spy sort of films, because if you've seen Fast Charlie, which is a fantastic film, by the way, Rotten Tomatoes has it an 83%, IMDb at 6 out of 10. It is a fantastic film, and the plot of the movie is this. Charlie has worked for Orlando mob boss Stan for 20 years as a quick, neat, and efficient hitman. What is James Bond? He's a hitman for hire, but he works for MI6. When a rival boss from Miami decides to eliminate Stan and his entire team, Charlie finds himself hard-pressed to find a loyal cohort. That movie, I think, gave people the idea for this theory, and I'm glad I stumbled upon it because it's an interesting thing to talk about, an interesting thing to really think about. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So drop me a comment. Would you want a Pierce Brosnan 71-year-old Bond movie where he comes out of retirement for the sake of his country, and you could have it that he has kids, he has grandkids, so the threat could be a catastrophic nuclear warfare if Bond doesn't stop it? And the whole premise of Bond coming back is they've sent out 6 00 agents before him, and they've all been killed. And when he's asked to come back and they tell him the stakes, his response is, I have a family now, and I don't want to lose it. So it could be a family reasoning for him coming back, sort of play on the Craig era, but I think he could do it a bit better and meaningful. Of course, don't copy the Craig movie exactly. Don't have it be secret children, secret. Don't do any of that. Just have him at the beginning of the film. Do it like an old style classic movie. Do it in a way that it makes the movie not look or feel like a Bond film to begin with. Make it seem like it's just an old, like, you know, the Indiana Jones film where he gets Dial of Destiny, where he gets off the chair and that. Do something like that. Do the cinematography like that. Don't focus too much on developing a universe with this Bond, because this Bond already has 4 films behind him. And it would give Pierce Brosnan the send-off that I think he would want. It would give a legacy sequel to a Bond that is beloved by most. And it's really the only time they can do it as of now. They cannot do this Bond movie with Craig, because Craig's Bond, as we all know, I hope you know, no time to die spoiler, blown to smithereens. So I look at this and I think this could be a very interesting idea. This was talked about back in the 50th anniversary. They were talking about potentially doing an aged Bond where they would start with Craig and they just age him up and they just explore his life as an agent aging up, and then his retirement and what that would look like. You could even have the look of Pierce Brosnan's face when he picks up the gun for the first time. You could have his Bond have some trauma, and the reason he left MI6 to begin with was because he shot someone who didn't deserve to die, or something like that. You could have an emotional, impactful movie that's just contained to its one film and doesn't need to connect to a larger universe or a larger story that will be sort of connected for the next 15 years. This would also be a great thing to do because it would give people a Bond film by 2026 at the earliest, 2027 at the latest, and it would give MGM Studios, the Broccolis, time to decide what Bond they want to do next, what story they want to do next, and it would give them time, and people wouldn't be clamoring down their throats going, we want another Bond. Amazon could easily make this happen tomorrow. They could be like, right, we're going to do this, put it in cinema, and we're going to do it on like a 45, like 50, maybe $90 million budget. Like, it doesn't need to be hundreds and hundreds of millions, and it doesn't need to be all about new tech, because this Bond wouldn't necessarily understand how to use the new technology of today. And it could play into that old gimmick of old people not understanding technology. It'd be kind of weird for Bond, but I think it would work, and it would be a movie that would have a soft spot within the fandom and it not be connected to any of the larger movies, and it just be a bit like Never Say Never, where Connery came back and did a film, and that film didn't work. It was a rehash of a movie they'd already done. But if they created a brand new idea and a brand new story, I think this could work. And I'm so glad that I've made this video, because I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you want an old Bond film starring Pierce Brosnan at like a 70-plus-year-old Bond, where he comes out of retirement because he may be the only agent who can stop what's about to happen? It'd be interesting to see. We've seen a lot of comebacks from old actors returning to fan favourites. Harrison Ford has done two big franchise returns with Star Wars and Indiana Jones. We've had the whole Ghostbusters come back. So it's not out of realms of possibilities, and it's not an unbelievable thing because it's happened before. But I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and check out some of my other videos that are just over here, I think. Yeah, over here. So that being said, I'll see you on the next one. As always, stay cinematic. Goodbye.